reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on. Somehow I'll keep moving on. till I reach the top somehow. That I will achieve, because I do the things I should, between my brethren kind and good. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. That I will achieve, because I do the things I should, between my brethren kind and good. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on to reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on.
Oh yes, my Straight Talk family, I am here, and I do owe you some humble apologies for my extra tardy start tonight. And that was my fault. I accept every bit of culpability. I take all the blame. I have nobody to blame but me, as the time just ran past me by. And it's long past the time when I should say greetings to the world, because we are on the World Wide Web. So we reach and we communicate with you all over the globe. And I know you've lost some time, and I always give you back your time if you so desire. But my Straight Talk family, again, I do humbly apologize. And I say greetings to the entire world one more time, because we are on the World Wide Web. We reach and communicate with you in the diaspora all around the globe, the Kittian, Division, and Caribbean diaspora. And we say good night. We can say good morning as well. And we can also say good afternoon, because one of such greetings is applicable to the region in which you now find yourself. But for those of you in the Caribbean region, here in St. Kitts and Nevis, and throughout the entire Caribbean, I say good night. And welcome all to another edition of Straight Talk for today, Thursday, the 4th day, what am I saying? The 4th day of June, the year of our Lord 2026. And I say welcome to the first timers. And thank all those who continue to share the link. So whenever you do share that link, we do get first timers. And I'll be surprised if we don't have first timers tonight. But in the event we do, I say welcome to your first edition of Straight Talk. And just to inform you that this program is heard every Monday and Thursday from 8 until 10 in the PM. It's a public service program, and we try to facilitate and promote free expression on all issues of national, regional, and international interests, be they legal, be they environmental, be they technological, social, economic, and or political issues. On this program, we try to raise the level of national, regional, and international consciousness. We try to raise the level of national, regional, and international discourse by alerting all to their rights, responsibilities, and to their obligations. My name is Ian Patches Liebert, and I thank Almighty God for blessing me with yet another opportunity to join you in conversation on yet another occasion. And my Straight Talk family, and in particular you first-timers, be advised that absolutely nothing is watered down in this program. Neither to make it interesting or to try to create excitement or to stimulate sensationalism. We are not about that, especially if it comes at the expense of accuracy, because we always lean on the facts, as it is my bounden duty, I'll hasten to add, to present the unvarnished truth, especially when it comes to governance in our nation or in every nation around the world. Because we are joined together with people across our federation. We are joined with people in the diaspora around the world. And yes, we do have our different views, but the truth is the truth. There's no substitute for the truth. But we are a different people. So even the face of truth, even the positions of truth advance, some will disagree, and that's fine. But please do not ever let us become disagreeable. That will sadden me. Let's at all times try to thank Almighty God nonetheless for helping us to understand, oh, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. Let us therefore hope and pray for that day when we will all sing his praise together. So welcome again, my people, and thanks for those who share that link. You bring us first-timers, please continue to do so. May I remind you and all our first-timers inform you that Straight Talk is a participative program. And by that I mean we include your calls, we include your emails. If you're so minded calling, the numbers are on your screens. Some of you like the cloak of anonymity, is what I call it. You don't want to be heard, and I can understand why. This world is such a strange world today, such a vindictive world as well. But for those who like that cloak of anonymity, we give you access via our email platform. That address too is on the screens. And it is an imperative, it is imperative, let me say that slowly. It is imperative that I welcome each time my Straight Talk Junior Brigade. They are so important to me. My young brigade, young Dwayne, Tristan, Jasmine, Shamar, Kevin, Rue, Jamal, Travis, Travon, I can't forever forget my grandson Neymar. I won't hear the end of it. Saraya, Elizabeth, and that special lady in St. Louis. Spoke to a very good friend of mine today who told me she's traveling to New York. Betty, just she'll have a safe flight. Our observations in review as well, we normally present. That's when we highlight issues, do some reflection, ask a few questions, provide updates, clarification, and establish what we have learned as a people. And very important, it's a learning process. But first of all, I really should have attended a function this afternoon, and that just flew past me. I wanted to go to celebrate this church service with my good lady friend Josephine Hobson, who celebrated her 100th birthday. Another centenarian in St. Kitts and Nevis. Wow, when I see these occasions, I just subtract my age and I know I have 30 more years to live, or whatever it is, more years to live. But happy birthday to Lady Josephine Hobson, always sprightly, always full of energy. I trust she will live to see many, many more birthdays. 100 years and counting on. Our first observation relates to the United Nations Security Council. And not for the first time, Trinidad and Tobago was on Wednesday elected as a non-permanent member of the United Nations Security Council. The last time a member was elected dates back to 2021, when the smallest country back then, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, was in fact elected a member of this august body.
We were just elected as a non-permanent member of the Security Council for the GRULAC region, the Group of Latin America and the Caribbean. We had a contested election. The great country of El Salvador contested against us. We received 185 votes. They received 6 votes. There were 2 abstentions. I want first of all to congratulate all the members of the United Nations, those from the Group of Latin America and Caribbean countries, those from Africa, Asia Pacific, Western Europe and others, and Eastern Europe. I want to reiterate that St. Vincent and the Grenadines views this as an historic occasion. We are the smallest country ever to be elected as a non-permanent member of the Security Council.
Yes, the smallest member ever elected, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and that was some 4, is it 4? That was, to be exact, 2020 to 2021, during the height of the COVID period. There's some 5 other members: Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, Bahamas, and Barbados were elected before over various periods to serve as a non-permanent member of the United Nations Security Council. And the Minister of Foreign Affairs from Trinidad and Tobago had this to say on their recent election.
Good afternoon. On behalf of the Honorable Kamla Prasad Visesa Senior Counsel, the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, the government, and the people of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, I accept with profound honor and gratitude the confidence placed in Trinidad and Tobago by the membership of the United Nations to be elected as a non-permanent member of the United Nations Security Council. We accept this mantle of responsibility with humility and pride. We wish to express our profound gratitude for the friendship, partnership, and solidarity shown to Trinidad and Tobago during our campaign. We congratulate all candidates on a well-executed and impactful campaign and sincerely look forward to working with you on the Security Council. For Trinidad and Tobago, this is not our first time on the Security Council. We had the privilege of serving on the Security Council within the years 1985 to 1986. Since independence, 64 years ago, Trinidad and Tobago has upheld the rule of law, championed human rights, strengthened international law, and never been silent in the face of injustice. Today, we reaffirm our commitment to the UN Charter, international law, and the rule of law. Our campaign, Building Consensus for the Realization of Sustainable Peace and Security, will guide our engagement on the Council as we pledge to foster dialogue and bridge differences amidst the multiplicity of complex challenges confronting the international community. Specifically, during our tenure, we will place particular emphasis on advancing the women and children on the peace and security agenda, addressing the illicit trafficking of small arms and light weapons, and examining the implications of artificial intelligence for international peace and security. The Honorable Prime Minister Prasad Visesa has instructed that we use our tenure on the United Nations Security Council to champion issues, the voices and aspirations of all people, and more importantly, to amplify the unheard voices to ensure that justice and equality anchor lasting security. We recognize the breadth and complexity of the Council's mandate and stand ready to engage constructively and reasonably across the full range of issues before the Council.
And our second observation by Straight Dog family relates to water. And what can I say about the water situation in St. Kitts and Nevis? What I can say is that the minister with responsibility for water, Congress Maynard, we know he's famous of not finishing his songs. So we here on Straight Talk are not really surprised that he won't finish his job. He plays politics with water. Find some water in Keon, everybody gets to itching. The odor they complain about. He promised to go and rehabilitate 2 wells in Shadwell. Shadwell 1 and Shadwell 2 after Keon. Yet today he's deploying water trucks. Yes, in the 21st century. When we got to office in 2015, we had the lowest average rainfall per annum back in 2015, well below the average. Don't remember the figure, so I won't misguide you. But here today, Congress sends out a message: a water truck will be deployed today from 5 p.m., beginning in Duas, and will continue to serve Beacon Heights and Upper Shadwell West as part of efforts to assist residents affected by the ongoing water service interruption. We thank residents for their patience, understanding, and cooperation as we continue to manage reduced water levels resulting from dry season conditions. Congress, when we came in 2022, the engineer, as they call the engineer on the team, you played politics with water. But let me give you a hint, young man. Water is life. You're all around disconnecting water as well. People are crying, bawling. Congress, water is life. Has nothing to do with politics. That's all I'll say tonight. And perhaps I'll just leave it there with my observations for tonight, my Straight Talk family, as time is of the essence, and I would move right into my thesis for tonight, which I have titled Selling a Nation, the Ultimate Betrayal of St. Kitts and Nevis. And St. Kitts and Nevis has long been dubbed as the pioneer of the Citizenship by Investment Program, or the Citizenship by Investment Industry, the CBI industry. It is a government initiative, beg your pardon, established in 1984 that allows foreign investors and their families to legally obtain citizenship and a passport in exchange for a contribution to the country. The CBI was created with a noble purpose, rooted in the apparent intention to attract foreign investment, to create jobs, develop infrastructure, and basically to improve the lives of people here in St. Kitts and Nevis. Today, however, many citizens are asking a painful question. Who has benefited most from our CBI program? The people, or the developers, or worse yet, our leaders? In St. Kitts and Nevis, there are currently 3 investment routes to qualify for citizenship, which are the Sustainable Island State Contribution, SISC, the public benefit, and the approved real estate option. The public benefit PBO, the public benefit option, and the approved real estate option. For decades, governments have celebrated the program the crown jewel of our economy. Yet throughout our islands, we see abandoned developments, unfinished projects, and promises that never materialize. All of these projects were sold as engines of prosperity, but failed to deliver the jobs, tax revenues, and the economic opportunities that were promised to our people. Yet every one of them highlight a systemic flaw and historical vulnerability within this investment migration industry, in that the bulk of the money has gone to private investors and real estate developers. The fundamental concern is simple. While citizens were being sold, while citizenships were being sold, billions of dollars have flowed through the system, yet ordinary citizens are still waiting to see the level of national transformation they were promised after 40 years. Donation-based routes go directly to the government treasury. The real estate and public project channels have long enriched private investors at the expense of the local population. For years, lax oversight allowed a network of international marketing agents, IMAs, and developers to exploit loopholes through illegal discounting schemes and other schemes. Developers colluded to sell citizenships at heavily discounted rates under the table. These developers pocketed a chunk of the money as marketing fees or kickbacks, leaving very little cash behind. This has caused great damage to the country, which is still left with ghost projects, half-built, abandoned hotels and resorts that never generated the promised tourism jobs or tax revenues, while the private developers walked away with millions, understand me, millions and perhaps billions of dollars. The lack of transparency and auditing loopholes helped to hide how much CBI cash was generated versus how much entered into the national budget. Without rigorous escrow laws, funds went directly into developers' private or offshore accounts rather than being monitored by the national treasury. Thanks to an investor, Philippe Martinez of MSR Limited, who filed a judicial review claim that exposed several illegalities, including underpricing or illegal discounting schemes. The Terence Michael Jew administration assured the Federation that it would revoke the passports of the violators. But who would believe? Terence Michael Jew instead revoked the contract of Philippe Martinez and MSR Limited as a developer under the PBO, the public benefit option. But Martinez exposed the fraudulent contracts for the jail project undertaken by Caribbean Galaxy. Straight Talk was reliably informed that Martinez provided bank statements to the Eastern Caribbean High Court through his defense counsel, showing payment of US $13.5 million to one Lescan, part of which was paid while he was head of the CIU. And part of these documents were filed in the court in St. Kitts and Nevis. What a tragedy. The Prime Minister Terence Michael Jew and Attorney General Garth Lucifer Wilkin used the court system to bury the documents through a non-disclosure agreement, an NDA. They buried all that information. Sad to note that the country will never know the extent to which this daylight robbery has damaged the economy. Coincidentally, I saw a blog today, my Straight Talk family, from Ken Ryjak in relation to 5 Caribbean leaders. And I found it to be a very interesting blog. As I mounted on your screens. And Kenneth Rajak asks the question, can the United States find an exception to head of state immunity for national leaders and indict, detain, and try the 5 Eastern Caribbean leaders of CBI states? He continued, in the aftermath of the action taken by the government of the United States to capture the sitting president of Venezuela and bring him to New York to stand trial in U.S. District Court, we have been repeatedly presented with an issue of great public importance to the citizens of the Eastern Caribbean states, whether the law provides an exception to the head of state immunity doctrine to allow the United States to indict and try on criminal charges any or all of the 5 prime ministers of the 5 Eastern Caribbean states that sell economic citizenships, also known as citizenship by investment or CBI or CIP. The 5 states are St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua and Barbuda, the Commonwealth of Dominica, St. Lucia, and Grenada. And my Straight Talk family, Straight Talk was reliably informed, as stated before, that one former leader holds an account in an Indian bank in Dubai amounting to tens of millions of US dollars that belong to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. My Straight Talk family, I can say it tonight categorically. Straight Talk has been reliably informed that the bank statements reveal that other OECS leaders received payments from Caribbean Galaxy. The latter has requested that trial be pushed back to the end of 2026 because of the war in Iran. It claims has destabilized its operations in Dubai. Straight Talk will not be surprised if attempts are made as well to bury the information, as was the case in the judicial review brought to the St. Kitts Court by MSR. But my Straight Talk family, it's only the U.S. Department of Justice can bring full disclosure, and that's why I'm heading to Washington shortly. I have been reliably informed about the corruption within the OECS CBI or CIPs, as they're called, that has forced me to describe some of these Caribbean leaders as morally reprehensible. A former chairman of the CBI board here in St. Kitts quickly resigned after refusing to disclose his millions of dollars to the Integrity in Public Life Commission, the IPLC. Nonetheless, many are hopeful that what happened in the Turks and Caicos Islands would happen in St. Kitts Nevis, St. Lucia, and other countries in the OECS. This was the recent ruling in the Turks and Caicos Islands.
The court is persuaded that it is appropriate to adjust the starting point of 8 years downwards to take account of the long delay in bringing this prosecution to an end. The previous good character of Missy and its antecedents. The court determines that the sentence should be reduced by 3 years to take account of the delay, and by a further 2 years for the previous good character of Mr. Missy. This leaves a sentence of 3 years on each count. However, since the court has decided that the sentences are to run concurrently, there will be an uplift of 2 years on the starting point of count 2 to take account of the overall offending. The sentences will then be on count 1, 3 years imprisonment, on count 2, 5 years imprisonment, and count 3, 3 years imprisonment. The time spent in custody of 339 days must be taken off the sentences, leaving Mr. Missick to serve 2 years and 26 days on count 1 and 3, and 4 years and 26 days on count 2. The sentences are to run concurrently and will be taken from the date.
Missick's brother, attorney Thomas Chow Missick, received an effective 4-year sentence, while former cabinet minister McAllister Hanchel was sentenced to 3 years. A shocking conclusion, which elicited a range of reactions. All 3 men were taken into custody immediately following the ruling. Appeals and applications for bail are expected as early as Monday.
And that's the Turks and Caicos Islands. Head of government sentenced to jail. What will happen when these corruptive practices of money laundering here in the Caribbean, the OECS to be exact, are exposed? My Straight Talk family, I wish to, at this point, provide clarification of my role on this podcast called Straight Talk with Ian Patches Liebert. And my next podcast called The Western Hemisphere with the proud American studios. And let me state clearly and without any semblance of doubt, your humble servant is not a slave. Far from that. Your humble servant is an investigative journalist in search of the unvarnished truth. Our foreign minister, Denzel Llewellyn Douglas, had a choice of friends, and he chose Cuba and Venezuela. Was that his personal choice? Or is that the choice of the cabinet? Because surely that cannot be a choice of our country.
Our friendship with Cuba, it is strong. Cuba has trained hundreds of our people. Our friendship with Venezuela is strong. And we will continue to strengthen that relationship that we have with our friends around the world.
My Straight Talk family, our Prime Minister, Terence Michael Drew, attempted to provide, according to him, full disclosure. And he said this to the CARICOM meeting.
I must give full disclosure. I studied in Cuba. I lived in Cuba for 7 years. I have friends there. I have people who are like family to me. They reach out to me and tell me of their difficulties. Food has become terribly scarce for some. Access to water has been challenging. Garbage fill the streets. Houses without electricity. I can only feel the pain of those who treated me so well when I was a student. I can feel their challenges and their difficulties. I do not get involved in their politics, but as a matter of humanity, it is challenging. I will say it is almost impossible not to feel the pain the pain that is conveyed to me in messages and calls from those who I lived among. And so CARICOM can help directly, and CARICOM can become a conduit for conversations so that the best outcome would be had.
My Straight Talk family, our Prime Minister tries to convince us that he does not get involved in Cuban politics because he doesn't want to publicly state that for decades it is well known that the government established by Fidel Castro and later led by his brother Raul Castro had placed severe restrictions on political freedoms in Cuba. No one can dispute that Cuba experienced economic or prolonged economic hardship, recurring shortages, large-scale emigration, and increasing public dissatisfaction. These are some of the issues that caused the largest anti-government protests since the revolution, some 67 years ago. And these protests, the largest one dates back to July 2021.
Cuba is known for not tolerating dissent, and shouting slogans calling for a change in government can land people in jail. Many protesters have been detained, beaten by the police in clashes, and pepper sprayed. Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and Telegram were blocked in the island nation since Monday amid widespread anti-government protests. Protesters have targeted police vehicles and looted state-owned shops, which price their goods in foreign currencies. For many Cubans, these shops are their only source of basic necessities, but the prices are high. US President Joe Biden has released a statement in support of the protests, saying, "We stand with the Cuban people and their clarion call for freedom and relief from the tragic grip of the pandemic and from the decades of repression and economic suffering to which they have been subjected by Cuba's authoritarian regime."
Yes, my Straight Talk family, that's 2021. But international organizations such as Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch have documented concerns, including limits on freedom of expression, restrictions on independent media, detention of political dissidents in Cuba, and limits on political opposition. And I had to choose a friend between the US, China, Cuba, and Venezuela. And I won't hesitate to say I chose the US. I can therefore inform you, my Straight Talk family, that arrangements have been made for me to meet top officials in the US Department of Justice, because I need to know, and the public has a right to know, how many passports have been sold to Chinese, How many passports have been sold to Iranians and Russians, just to name a few nationalities? My straight dog family, the Attorney General, Garth Lucifer Wilkin, and Prime Minister Terence Michael Drew, both have all the information. The latest bank statements are explosive, I am told. But that is all I can say at this time. From what I have been reliably informed as well, my straight dog family, bank statements reveal that other Caribbean leaders receive payments from Caribbean Galaxy. But as I said, that I'll be in Washington at the end of the month, and I will provide you with more details on my next interview on the Western Hemisphere. My straight dog family, I wish I can tell you more right now, but good things come to those who wait. I can assure you. What I can tell you is the U.S. officials know every single detail about contracts, bank accounts, bank transactions. They know everything. But the ultimate betrayal by the leaders of St. Kitts and Nevis is still being brokered by the federal government and the NIA, my straight dog family. Still being brokered, I say. The hopes and aspirations of our beloved country nonetheless lie in the integrity of the 7 or 8 members of the Independent Oversight Committee, the IOC. According to the law, my straight dog family, they must determine whether they can afford to facilitate an island in our little island Nevis. They must determine whether 5% of all the jobs that are promised to be created in the special economic zone, if that percentage is an adequate number for locals to fill. 5%. 5 out of every 100 jobs. Only that amount, that quota for locals. The IOC must also determine whether the developer, Olivier Janssens, will be allowed to acquire 2.4 thousand acres, 2,400 acres of land from the people, and recover the money he expects to spend on this investment through the sale of 10,000 St. Kitts Nevis passports. Isn't this the ultimate betrayal by the leaders of St. Kitts and Nevis? From both sides of the Narrows, Premier Mark Anthony Graham Brantley, Terence Michael Drew. Isn't this the ultimate betrayal by these leaders to sell the people's passports, then use the revenue, the money they collect to buy the people's land? Douglas spoke about Kitchen Hill, my straight dog family, and the Ramada Hotel. What is Douglas speaking about? All he knows. But Douglas told us this, my straight dog family. And my straight dog family, I ask a very important question. Shouldn't the Ramada Hotel belong to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis? After all, Caribbean Galaxy got $3 100,000 shares at 400,000 US dollars per share. So this developer collected $1.2 billion US, or EC $3.2 billion. It is our money. Yes, the people's money. The hotel is closed for years. But the developers don't care, as they have already collected $1 billion US dollars since the construction of this hotel was estimated at US $200 million. So government must either acquire this Ramada hotel or the people. Hear me carefully. The people must occupy this hotel, because this betrayal is unacceptable. The people must take a stand, my Straight Dog family. The people have to take a stand. I repeat, this hotel must belong to the people. Is Terrence Michael Drew in bed with the developers? That's the question we ask. It's a straightforward question, but we need to ask that question more and more often. We need to ask that question. Is Terrence Michael Drew in bed with this developer? After all, my Straight Dog family, he took her to the United Nations. Remember, he did. Is Terrence Michael Drew compromised? And after hearing the SKN story, we must ask, why isn't Caribbean Galaxy blacklisted? He took her to the UN. Former CIU CEO SKN is captured on video, during which time he made a number of candid and controversial remarks concerning the CBI program and the conduct of certain political leaders. Those remarks have continued to fuel debate about transparency, accountability, and the long-term management of the CBI program, my Straight Dog family. Imagine Terrence Michael Drew referred, my Straight Dog family, referred to the prison project as being criminal.
The prison project alone is providing $2 billion. Big scandal. Over $2 billion. That is a crime. That is a crime. Somebody needs to be brought to the court for that. It is not right that something like that should happen.
You must repeat that, my Straight Dog family.
The prison project alone is providing $2 billion. Big scandal. Over $2 billion. That is a crime. That is a crime. Somebody needs to be brought to the court for that. It is not right that something like that should happen.
Not right at all, my Straight Dog family. And we understand. Yes, we had to get this for you to hear it.
I've told my colleagues we have to do what we have to do to get Kitty Shady Hill working. We have to do what we have to do to get Ramada Hotel open and functional.
Well, Ramada Hotel is our hotel. If the government don't acquire it, the people, I demand, should occupy it. This is our hotel. They got over $1 billion of our money for this hotel. You heard Terrence Michael Drew who said to allocate 5.5 thousand or 5,500 shares to Caribbean Galaxy was criminal. His Attorney General Garth Lucifer Wilkin called it a scam. Yet, Terence Michael Drew signed 22,000 certificates of registration. He signed off on all these passports. What betrayal? Mark Brantley lied about the CBI, my Straight Talk family. Brantley lied about the CBI when he said this. What a big lie.
About the connectivity with CBI. Now, one of the things that has been said or mooted in the agreements that are being negotiated is that every single proposed investor in that South Coast project will have to pay the registration and processing fees for citizenship by investment, even if that person does not then want it or apply for it. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So once you come into that zone, you have to pay the money, right, up front. If you choose not to, because many people choose not to, they're not interested in citizenship, then that's a matter for you. But whether you decide to apply for citizenship or not, you have to pay that money up front. That is one of the aspects that has been negotiated just in terms of generating revenue for the Citizenship by Investment program and for the government of St. Kitts and the government of Nevis as well.
And yes, my Straight Talk family, Johnson's revealed the truth nonetheless about this project. He was asked this question and he responded candidly. Oliver Johnson did tell the truth, my Straight Talk family, about this project.
Is the project a CBI project?
We're still discussing with the government, of course, but yes, the idea is that people that buy a unit can also get a passport with that. So it also increases the CBI income, because the CBI income has been drying up substantially. It's also a big concern for the island, so it can definitely help rejuvenate the whole passport program.
So Johnson spoke the truth. Mark Brantley told us a lie about the CBI project. Gave us the impression that some people had choices. How can you have a choice when it comes to the CBI project, whether you want to get a passport or not? We have not even addressed the Whitegate project and what Douglas said recently, my brother, or my Straight Talk family. We have not even addressed this.
The creation of the Whitegate development area was an initial attempt to do what we are doing here today. When Christopher Harbour was created out of the Southeast Peninsula, where not even 1 square foot of land was owned by the government, we had to put in place certain enabling laws and guidelines as to how that was going to be developed, so that the Southeast Peninsula will bring to St. Kitts and Nevis the type of support that was going to be needed as we transition the economy away from dependence on sugar to tourism and hospitality services.
But what do we have to do about Whitegate, my Straight Talk family? What do we have to do? But we are at this juncture, and Mark Brantley has demanded a response, and he gave a timeline.
the Destiny Project, let me just report that the federal government would have written to us on the 30th of April and would have indicated that the committee set up in St. Kitts had various concerns. In our opinion, the majority of those concerns had nothing to do with St. Kitts or the committee, because those concerns fell squarely within the constitutional authority of the Nevis Island administration. And some of those concerns we thought were, how should I put it, unfortunate. They said that this community will be a community of wealthy individuals, and that will create a sort of Nevis where you have some haves and have-nots. And our response went out on the 8th of May to the cabinet in St. Kitts. I can tell you that today we intend to dispatch a further letter, because we've heard nothing further, asking whether or not we can have a response within the next 7 days.
But my Straight Talk family, we share our pity for Mark Brantley, as he obviously failed to anticipate the consequences of his own decisions and has now become captive to the very framework he helped to create. With the full consent of the NIA, the federal government was granted absolute veto power over the progression of any project. So no doubt, having listened to Straight Talk on Monday night, and after being properly schooled, Mark Brantley jumped on a sea taxi early Tuesday morning across the Narrows, the shark-infested Narrows, realizing that his silly comments were filled with braggadocio rather than practical solutions. And he went to see Terence Michael Jew. Brantley must know by now that the members of the IOC, this committee, this independent oversight committee, carry an enormous responsibility. And I showed you his consent and the legislation that provided the avenue for him to consent. The duty of the Independent Oversight Committee is not to developers. Their duty is not to politicians. The duty of the Independent Oversight Committee is to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, both present and future generations. The Independent Oversight Committee must examine this destiny proposal without fear or favor. They must determine whether this project serves the national interests or merely serves private interests. The Independent Oversight Committee must determine whether our land, our citizenship, and our future are being protected. History teaches us that nations are rarely destroyed by foreign enemies. More often, they are weakened when leaders place private interests above the public good. My Straight Talk family, in conclusion, a nation is not a commodity to be traded, auctioned, or sold to the highest bidder. It is the inheritance of generations past, the birthright of generations present, and the sacred trusts we hold for generations yet unborn. The people of St. Kitts and Nevis must therefore ask themselves a simple but profound question. What is the true value of our citizenship, our sovereignty, and our national identity? Once these are compromised, no amount of money can buy them back. Leadership is not measured by how much is collected in government's coffers, but by how faithfully a government protects the interests of its people. When policies place private profit above national interests, when citizenship becomes merely a transaction, and when the future of our country is negotiated without the informed consent of its citizens, we move dangerously close to selling not just passports, but pieces of the nation itself. History teaches that great nations are built by leaders who safeguard their people's heritage, not by those who mortgage it. The ultimate betrayal is not a political disagreement or a policy failure. It is the surrender of a nation's future for short-term gain. Let it be known that St. Kitts and Nevis does not belong to politicians, developers, foreign investors, or special interests. It belongs to the people of this federation, past, present, and future. We therefore have a duty to defend it, preserve it, and pass it on stronger than we found it. The choice before us is clear. We can remain silent while others determine our destiny, or we can stand together and declare that our country is not for sale. The time has come to put nation before politics, principle before profit, and the people before all else. For when a government begins the selling of its people in the future, or when a government begins selling the future of its people, I believe that's better. It commits the ultimate betrayal. But when the people rise to defend their nation, they become the author or the authors of its redemption. The CBI program is the oldest or the platinum brand, whatever we care to call it. But one thing for sure, selling this nation will lead to the ultimate betrayal of St. Kitts and Nevis. And that's my story tonight, my Straight Talk family, and I am not going to change it. I will open the lines and entertain your calls and your emails. And when I do so, momentarily, I anticipate and I implore you to respect others. But to achieve that, you must first respect yourselves. Let us try to be fair to all concerned, and let us try to build goodwill and better friendships. Let us, my Straight Talk family, ensure that the things we say and or do will be beneficial to all concerned. And in the process of saying and not doing those things, let us strive to build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. With that said, I go to the lines. It's 9:20. I started a bit late tonight, and I apologize one more time. But never mind. Whatever the time you desire, it's your time. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Good night. Good night, Mr. Liebert.
Good night, fair lady.
There is no lower act than betraying those who have placed their trust in you.
Place their trust in you.
I repeat, there is no lower act than betraying those who have placed their trust in you. Have a great evening.
Thank you very much. Have a great evening as well, my Straight Talk family. My quotation is the reference I give to this lady from across the Narrows. Always so relevant, always so thought-provoking. There is no lower act than betraying those who have placed their trust in you. Straightforward but factual. Caller, thank you for holding you alive. Hello, caller.
Thank you. Good night. Good night, Brother Patches.
Good night, my brother. How about thou?
I am humble and peaceful.
Good to hear.
I have 4 segments to inject, starting with the first one. Our past leaders have betrayed us very badly. Our past leaders should be prosecuted. The trails, the evidence are there. And I can't wait sooner for the seal to be opened and reveal the unvarnished truth. I will be first to inject and move, since there are no one yet has done this. I'm asking the United States Department of Homeland Security, Justice for the people of the Federation of St. Kitts to hold all who are accountable for robbing us of our CBI money that caused the people and the Federation to be in a stagnant. The effect of this is happening right now in the supermarkets. Food to eat and development, social sessions and activities that the people are yearning for far too long. I also will say, wherever all these money has been laundered, you and those who are traveling that same vein, like me, will recover justify and peacefully, and be given to the people who were due, even to those who are dead, who should have get when they should have gotten. They're still entitled to their share because enough money is out there. I'm not after money to the sake I am a money general or money Grinch, but it's what was due and should have due, and it was the right way, and it is the right way still moving forward. I will leave that first segment as I will close there. I leave the space for others to inject their perspective. Thank you for allowing me.
Thank you very much. We go back to the lines. Caller, you alive. Hello, caller.
Good night to the one and only Ian Patches live, but good night.
Good night, my brother. How about thou?
Oh, man, I'm here calling a trailing out. I tune in a kind of late, but still get you. Went over, forget we got to do something, you know? Anyway, Patches, first, I always want to give God thanks. Give God thanks for life, you know? And give God thanks for our blessed Federation, St. Kitts Nevis, where I think that if the people do the right things, this election coming up, I believe that we will get a better government, better people running our government, and looking the fears of our country. No, Patches. I up to the last night to tell somebody, I tell a friend of mine, that neither Dr. Joe, nor Mark Brantley got the people of this country to heart. They didn't have the people of this federation to heart. If they had these people of federation to heart, they would not come election and fool out the people and tell them they're going to give them this and give them that. And now to deliver to the people. You hear left, right, and center. Me say that, Patches, that people mustn't pay the current and people mustn't pay the water. But Patches, right now, this is a downtown economy. Right now, And a lot of parents out there suffering because what? Some of them get laid off. Some of them children ain't working yet. Maybe some of them family members children are big and they own. And this the thing about these people. Talk about the love country and love people. Now I listened to Mark Manley last night. I called in Asia last night. And if you hear him talk about the people, young people of Nevis, that were he Guyanese, I think was either Guyanese or Jamaican, Spanish. I one of them. He said that got 3 jobs in Nevis. And like he calling on Nevis and them, Nevis, the young man and woman in Nevis, they don't want to work. And this man getting 3 paycheck check. 3 paycheck either every month or every week. Far from the truth, he lie. These guys just walking, fooling people, you know, and everything what them out, you know, they really know everything what them out, you know. They're sweetening up the foreigners, them talking about the foreigners, then this and talking about this and talking about that. Look at the Destiny Project in Nevis. Patches, where's over 40-something thousand people?
Yep.
Over 40-something thousand people. What we gonna come our young men and women in the Federation of Plinkett Nevis to get a job? Because Nevis people coming down here getting work. We going in Nevis, think people going up to Nevis and get work too. And this the problem with these guys. They ain't got the country at heart. They ain't got the people at heart. They're just about themselves pulling the pocket patches. And I just want the people to do the right thing, you know. That's why I tell the people to listen to straight talk. Straight talk, got the facts. None of them challenge you. With what you say about them and what they say to do with the CBI program. Not one of them challenge your patches. And not one of them challenge about the project, the prison project. So you lie. Patches have a wonderful night. If I get back.
Thank you very much. Well, on Straight Talk, Mr. Politics, we are always aim to present what I call the unvarnished truth. And it is difficult to challenge the truth. Very difficult. Mr. Libert reads this email. Permit me to openly say to Mrs. Laverne Keynes, PAM, PRO, how pleased I am, and not me alone, because many of my associates have said the same thing. And that is, we love the manner in which Laverne mincemeat Dwyer Astafan commentary and argument last week. What was more captivating and interesting was that her eloquence and effectiveness were executed with effortless grace, to the extent that the commentator's name was not even mentioned. But no doubt, he received a strong backlashing from the PRO and PAM. A strong message reverberated vehemently across the Federation and evoked a sudden and quick, meaningless response from the so-called groundless crew and one of the 2 of his associates. And I must say, Sean's response was electrifying, and not forgetting the plain speaker Austin Coker, who never lost his nerve in asking Sam a simple question. Mr. Kondo, when Douglas called you a kunumunu, and you find yourself back in bed with him, what do you have to say about that? Sam was left dumbfounded and speechless, whereby the panelists remarked, "Boy, Sam, that really shocked your nerve." And that really brought great laughter and smiles to the panelists. Sam sad to say, but your learning days are over. Reads this email. Let's go to the lines and thank this caller for holding. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller? Yes, caller, you're live. How is the Bible man? The Bible man, good night, sir.
The Bible man is all right, Mr. Patel.
Good to hear you. You're quoting from the Psalms tonight? Give me 3 verses of Psalms for tonight.
Psalm 91, Mr. Patel.
Psalm 91. He that trusts.
Yeah.
How the one goes. In thee I put my. I'm lost here. Go ahead. I'm trying to remember it. Psalm 91. It's a famous psalm, though. A favorite psalm of mine. But go ahead, so. Sorry about that.
He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High
shall abide. I got you.
shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty.
Yes, my brother.
I will say to the Lord, He is my refuge
and my strength.
My fortress.
My fortress, yes.
My fortress in God will I trust. Verse 3. Surely shall deliver me from the nails of the fowler.
The noisome fowler.
And from the mouth of the pestilence.
Noisome pestilence.
He shall call me with his feathers. Under his wings thou trust.
Yes.
The truth shall be my shield and buckler.
Yes.
I shall not be afraid of the terror by night, nor the hour of flash by day. And the Lord passage scripture is about Psalm 41.
That's your road match.
That's the road match. Blessed is the man that considereth the poor.
Yes.
In the time of trouble, he shall deliver him. Mr. Patrick, good night. I know you're looking for me last week. I know that. So I give you something to talk from food tonight. So see you, Mr. Patrick.
Have a good night, my brother. Thanks.
Yes. We'll see you. Bye.
Thanks for your spiritual interventions each time, the Bible man. Mrs. Carleen Moat, I think they should read. Last Monday afternoon, I tuned in late and was unable to get your full commentary in respect of the corruption that is taking place in the electoral office. I would be grateful to hear it again. However, we have to remember, Mrs. Morton, that we are dealing with a set of nasty, corrupt, shady scams in government. Also remember that the leader told us how easy it was for him to buy the last election. In 2015, when Team Unity was heading for victory, the dishonest hand-picked supervisor of election, in conjunction with the Commissioner of Police, Mr. Sigi, abruptly stopped the counting of the ballots, claiming that he was scared and frightened for his life. It was the most dumbfounded and feeble excuse emanated from a man in such a high position. I want to pause here and publicly thank Ralph Gonzalez, who at the time was chairman of CARICOM, who first came out and denounced the sinister plot carefully orchestrated by Douglas and his Labour Party in order to perpetuate their stay in government. Kudos must also be given to our own Nigel Carty and Roosevelt Skerritt, who condemned the worthless behavior of the election supervisor and demanded that he return to office and finish his job. Mrs. Morton, over the years, the Labour government has knowingly handpicked unscrupulous men for the position of supervisor of election. They went right in the half-pay tree Church of God and took out the pastor and caused him to lie on God with his utterances that God called him to be supervisor of election. Let us examine the current supervisor. This is another devil who was a pastor in the Wesleyan Holiness Church, now assigned as the supervisor of election. From all accounts, he's worse than all previous supervisors when it comes to dishonesty, cheating, lying, and corrupt practices. He has a university doctorate in these defilements. Mrs. Morton, the same thing is happening up here in the Nevis Electoral Office. And numerous complaints have been made to the said supervisor. And he just turned a blind eye. Let them continue their misdeeds, Mrs. Morton, for every rope has an end, reads this email. This other email reads, Miss Ira McMahon, I have an observation and I don't know if you have been observing it as well. What I realize is every time you call in to the Tuesday night Let's Talk show to make a contribution, the radio host invariably cuts in and challenges you. And this unprofessional behavior is very distasteful and disturbing to the many listeners who always look forward to hear from you. Last Tuesday night, you made mention of the Turks and Caicos Premier Michael Missick, who was jailed for corruption. You further stated that how come we are seeing these happenings around here and so much corruption taking place around here? Now that remark you made seemed to have touched a nerve in the host, as he thought, in my opinion, that you were getting at Premier Brantley. Consequently, he impetuously intervened using his mantra, wait on me, wait on me. He then put forward a scenario which in my opinion is saying, so if Missick has been jailed, are you saying Mark should be jailed too? I just had to smile at Mr. McMahon with his comment. Reads this email. This other email reads, Premier Mark Brantley thinks that he is smart and tricksy, and this is what he does over time, fool and mislead his blind supporters in Nevis. Brantley fully well knows about a present arranging a meeting that was scheduled to take place between the Prime Minister and himself within a week. And that is why he made that bold statement last week that he will be writing to Drew again and we will be giving him 1 week to respond, or else. Given the public and Nevis's, especially the impression that he will take drastic action against Drew thereafter. But lo and behold, the dangerous lying crooked snake turned up in Drew's office for the pre-arranged meeting days before the 1 week deadline. Mark given to Drew to respond. Mark, boy, you are only making yourself a fool, reads this other email. Yes, I wanted to dispense of the emails, so my lines, yes, are open, my Straight Dog family. If you have just joined me, we are discussing our thesis for tonight. Selling this nation will lead to the ultimate betrayal of St. Kitts and Nevis. And my Straight Dog family, we have looked at the corruption within the CBI. We have looked at the proposal over in Nevis, where the Premier wants 10,000 shares. Hear me right. 10,000 investment units or shares. And that if we use the normal yardstick, one application, it is with one application, it is anticipated that you'll have a family of 4, a wife and 2 children. So 10,000 investment units can bring 40,000 citizens to Nevis. But my Straight Dog family, before that, we looked at the citizenship by investment program, which is the oldest program in the world. And we also looked at the corruption within that program. And there are issues. We need to know how many passports have been sold to Chinese, Iranians, and Russians, just to name a few nationalities. But my straight dog family, as I mentioned before, I am no slave. I'm an investigative journalist. And I head to Washington and I've asked for a meeting with officials in the Department of Justice. And I will report to you on my next interview on the Western Hemisphere. Meantime, let's go back to the lines and thank this caller for holding. Caller, you are live. Hello, caller.
Greetings, Mr. Patches. How are you?
I am peaceful, my brother. Yourself? Greetings.
I'm very good. Listening to your sound thesis. Good continuation from your thesis last week.
Thank you.
It's good. Good to have these kind of debates in our nation.
True.
And it's also good to hear Bible man still so strong. And he's one of the founders to say, are your program from way back. So that is good of him. Yeah. It is true that the concept of democracy is universally accepted. It is, however, no less to say that there are as many types of democracy as there are nations in the world, since the underlying spirit of each type of democracy is imparted to it by the nation that puts it into effect in its own individual and particular way. Democracy evolves by stage. Mr. Paget, if we cannot look like we solving our problems and maturing, we are not moving as an evolving democracy. We are striving as a rotating democracy. You have a good thesis tonight, selling a nation. And when I saw that on your post, I say, if we just still be hearing people talking about take out the Brian Clause out the Constitution. I don't know why they call it a Brian Clause, to tell you the honest truth. But when I look at even sometimes my brethren here from New York, just talk about they want to come back home to do this and do that and take out that clause. But leadership is about sacrifice, pain, blood, and death. That's the leadership, about sacrifice. It ain't just no comfort. So when you talk about removing that clause, I see that clause as a sovereignty clause. Whoever put that clause in the Constitution had a visionary sight of putting such a clause in that Constitution. And that clause needs to be strengthened to protect the sovereignty of the country. Because when you hear about the CBI and the economic citizens who have more strength than the natural born citizens, how could you remove a clause like that from the Constitution? You're going to harm your citizens, naturally. Mr. Patches.
I'm sorry, but I'm really sorry about that. I was gonna ask you, just for the benefit of our listeners, our viewers, to explain the clause, the Brian clause for them. Are you there?
The clause that us talk about if somebody ain't born from your ain't born in parent ain't born in St. Kitts.
Yes.
Them kind of things there.
Right, right.
That's a sovereignty clause,
Exactly.
Mr. Patches. You can't remove a clause like that from your constitution. Every part of the world, every constitution is protected by some kind of clause. So we country shouldn't be no different.
It speaks as well to dual citizenship as well. That's
Also, the dual citizenship.
Yep.
That's also a good clause. Because leadership is about sacrifice.
Right.
Because you cannot say, you got to know what you're heading into before you do it when you come on being a candidate. And you got to know the rules. The Bible said, thou shalt not steal. You cannot say, the Lord put that deal. Because you're a thief, you don't say, the Lord put that deal to harm you. No, laws are there to help guide you in a more righteous path.
Okay.
Another by what can be selling our nation out to Mr. Patches is employment. Not because we're saying we are CARICOM country. We must open our country to CARICOM citizens' employment just like that. No, you got to weigh things because you have an upcoming generation that's filled with promise. And you cannot shove them back under the bus. What are they going to do with the qualification? Cut grass? No. You got to select your people in tangible position to be employed. You cannot fill your education system with CARICOM nationals. I'm just putting out a thing. I'm not saying it is so. But you cannot do that. You cannot fill your nursing. You got to encourage your people to take up potential studies pertaining to development of your country. Because employment can also sell your country out. And we hearing about independent candidates. It's good to hear about independent candidates, but independent candidates also have to project their thoughts on the issues that is confronting the country. Mr. Patches, you continue to be strong. Stay healthy. God bless.
God bless you as well. Thank you very much for your contributions. We go back to the lines and thank this caller for holding. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Hello, Patches. How are you doing?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
I'm good too. Pertaining the Brian clause, Simmons is the one that passed that in the House because he said Brian was a minister in Parliament, but he did not born there and he don't have no relative born there. His mother didn't born there, nor his father. That's why they call it Brian clause. And the dual citizenship now, when they say that you can hold two passports and be a minister there, that from Douglas. That was from Douglas. Douglas thing. When Simmons was in government, Simmons bring Brian clause and Douglas bring the dual citizenship.
But you find anything wrong with them?
No, I'm agree. I'm agree 100% with them.
Okay.
I'm agree 100% with them because the thing is if your dual citizenship, if you run for government and you lose, you go back where you come from and the people citizens them have to stay there. As again, Mr. Bratcher had said many years ago, I was as a young girl coming up, that if you want, nothing wrong if you want to vote, but you have to live in the country at least 6 months before election, that you could see, you could feel and see what you who you want to put in. Not like how they're doing this. People come from America, they put the vote and they gone back. Some of them up here on food stamp and all them countries, and they don't come down. Only every 5 years they will come down. They will never take a plane. They will never buy a plane fleet and come down and see how the people them live in there, and that's not right. Well, I think one time Gene Hamilton had said that he don't against outside voters, but you must contribute to the country. Like if you have a house or whatever, you pay the taxes and whatever. But some of them don't have nothing there. Some of them come vote. They have to stay in a hotel, vote in a constituency where they not even live there. So it's a lot of messed up, need cleaning up. That's all I have to say.
Thank you very much. Well said, my straight dog family. I believe I have another caller on this line. Caller, are you there? Hello, caller. Just bear with me there, caller. I do think I have to. Yes.
Just bear with me there, caller.
Are you there, caller?
Yes, I am here.
Yeah, I'm sorry to kept you
All right.
so long.
Now, this is going to make the third one comes in on the Bryan Clause and the Constitution.
You have the equipment time? Can you move away from your equipment, please?
Yes, I'm not going to prolong this too long, but the understanding of the Bryan Clause has been misinterpreted when it comes to born citizens of the Federation of St. Kitts and being a transactional or any other way of being a citizen of the Federation. And in my view, and no scholar or luminary has come out to correct this thing because this is questionable and it's debatable. And
what is debatable?
Because the true understanding is not there. Everyone has an interpretation which could be vague. But I will give you my version and understanding.
There's no interpretation. Is one of your parents must be born in St. Kitts and Nevis. What's big about that?
When it comes around participating in our affairs, election, I think the person who are participating should be a natural born citizen. And that will be more acceptable. Whether they left the Federation to better their lives.
But caller, I'm sorry to interrupt. It's not what you think, is what the Constitution says.
But the Constitution does not speak against natural born citizens. Dual citizenship is what spoke about natural citizens having two passports to another foreign country. But look at it. It doesn't say if you were born in St. Kitts and Nevis, you cannot participate in the election. And if so, okay, then they should not allow to vote. Neither. And there are nothing in any constitution, even though this lady said, Bratcher spoke that they should be in St. Kitts at least 6 months or a year. Nothing has been written in the Constitution to deem that proper. Okay? So everyone is going to the assumption, and this Constitution and this Bryan Clause have to be rectified because everyone is running loose with their opinion, what it is. So I'm going to cut this short. I think, well, I am not a citizen of the United States. I am a resident. Okay? And I'm not going to stay in St. Kitts or Nevis or it was another country and can't make a living. And I'm not going to put myself into a suffocation situation. I will go where it is feasible for me. And that I for one, I'm out here because it's more feasible for me than in St. Kitts as a survivor. I would have been in the same situation of hard life. I do not intend to live hard life when I can do something better. And that's what I did, and that's what I've done, and I will do it again. Yes, and I will say, we out here are fighters for our patrimony and our dignity and our sovereignty. So is anyone going to go contrary that we shouldn't participate? No, hell no.
Okay, my brother. Okay.
Okay, that's our country. So, everyone, like I said, entitled to their opinion, but yes. I think the right way is I am a natural born citizen and no one can deny me.
Okay.
of participating in the federal election. And number one, I am not a citizen of the United States to fall into that category. But I will defend natural born citizens who are on foreign grounds trying to make a living in a better way.
I think you have confused the issue, though, quite frankly, caller. But thanks a lot for your contribution. I think there were two things advanced. One, as it relates to the dual citizenship, and one as it refers to the qualifications for voting, or for being a representative. I can use that simple term. It has not. The lady, from my understanding, was never saying that a natural citizenship should not or cannot represent us. And very importantly, though, you talk about permanent residence, but the caller before made a very important point, which he said leadership is about sacrifice. So if you want to be a permanent resident, that's your choice. But what was the lady mentioned as well as was a residency clause. But I have somebody holding. Caller, thank you for holding your live. Are you there, caller?
Yes, good evening, Patches.
Good evening, sir.
Yes. I remember St. Kitts was 68 square miles. I think Nevis was about 36. You could correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think you're right. 36. Yeah.
How much population could those two countries accommodate? They're selling off their birthright. Plus, they have the free movement of the Caribbean. The other thing I would like to ask you tonight, a lot of those people who have free movement, they start to born their children in St. Kitts. Same thing with people who have the passport, that purchase the passport. What do you think will eventually going to become of St. Kitts and Nevis? That young man that came on there, the white guy, when you first began, he tell the truth. Okay? That part of the money that going to build this thing they want to build in Nevis going to come from selling passport. And I usually look at it as selling birthright. Selling your birthright. I will sit back and listen to you.
Thank you kindly. My Straight Talk family. I think I have a caller holding here. Caller, I thank you for holding your live. Hello, caller.
Patrick, good night. Me again.
Yes, sir.
Patrick, you hear me?
Yes, you're loud and clear. The whole world is listening.
Yeah, Patrick, yeah, me again, Patrick. Patrick, yes. Mark Brantley was a part of the unity government. He was a force behind to get the unity government here. Patrick, the government was doing well under the leadership of Dr. Harris. Right? Patrick, when you ask Mark Brantley anything about the unity government now, he was a part of. He give you a kind of rigmajig. When I asked him that if it wasn't a good idea, when the people were getting his $500, they was working under $3,000 a month. He going to rigmajig to talk about water, this, we better develop on water. I tell him again about the housing roof program, where poor people, for years, man in a shack, getting wet down. I should have got a clip there with a man, with a guy from there somewhere. How he thanked Dr. Harris as the Prime Minister. He go put kit and salt to get when we come in, he getting wet. You understand? And consider those things. These guys, Patches, they enforce. Because if he was for us, whether with the fair share whatsoever, if he was for us, the government was treating the ordinary man and woman in the country good. And he destroyed the unity. He helped destroy the unity, Patches, scramble it. And now we get back into the government with the federal thing with Dr. John, the Labour Party. He's part of them. He's not in no position. If you listen to him, listen to the program, and listen to him, and how we're talking about that Prime Minister John Canvas and this and that and the other. And he's spreading the lies. He's spreading the lies. I come and talk about water. Water problem, any government get in here, the first thing they're going to do is water problem, because every day houses go down, different projects go down, and everything. All these things are coming in place. The desalination plan was coming in place under Unity this same way too. Unity don't prepare the way for all of that. That was happening. Labour gained the impression like they go in there and all these things, that's the thing. They just started doing just a whoop, housing project, this, that. When poor people suffer, some people only can't pay the houses them. So I want the people of Nevis, listen to me carefully. Mark Brantley ain't have no use for division, no the criticism. I got use for his friend, his family, and whosoever.
Okay.
That is good night.
Thank you very much, my dear brother, for your contribution. I thank this caller for holding. It's 2 minutes past 10 o'clock. I started a bit late. I promise to give you back your time. Caller, you're live.
Yeah, Patches, good evening, man. How you doing tonight, man?
I am peaceful, my brother. Yourself?
Yeah, pretty good. We must agree to disagree. I'm going straight at your thesis. Selling a nation, the ultimate betrayal of SKN. Patches, I know that you put this thesis in the mix, not because of any person from the diaspora that got a dual citizenship or a foreign passport and came home and dragged St. Kitts and Nevis to the mud, and now we are at the junction right now that we are. How did the said Fitzroy Bryant still get to participate in political affairs in St. Kitts and Nevis? And we have someone, and he was a close person to the family, and you know that, Honorable Southwell, is a national hero, and he wasn't even born in the Federation. Those 2 points must be addressed. Talking about sacrifice, not me alone, but all of us who's out here, we all made a lot of sacrifice to be where we at right now. Moving forward.
But caller, I hate to allow you to move on without clarifying the issues you've raised. All right? There was a constitution under statehood. But in 1983, our current constitution, from 1983, independence constitution, still exists. And section 27, I think you should read it, because I know you come with this case each time. There's sections 27 and 28 are important to the matters that you continue to raise. And I pulled it up, and just for the benefit of yourself and all our listeners, it is very clear. As my learned friend would say, it is pellucid, which relates to 27 qualifications for representatives and senators. And it reads, and I quote, subject to section 28, a person shall be qualified to be elected or appointed as a member of the National Assembly if, that's the condition, and shall not be so qualified unless he or she is a citizen of the age of 21 years or upwards, and he or she or one of his or her parents was born in St. Christopher and Nevis, and he or she is domiciled there at the time. I lost it. He or he was domiciled there at the date of his or her nomination for election or his or her appointment, as the case may be. Fitzroy Bryant, none of his parents were born in St. Kitts. I think that's why they called Bryant Clause. But that was coming out of the Independence Constitution. And unless that is changed, we can back till thy kingdom come, it is the Constitution, which is the supreme law of the land. Section 28, which is your pet peeve, it relates to disqualification for representatives and senators. And it reads subsection 1, a person shall not be qualified to be elected or appointed as a member if he or she is by virtue of his or her own act under any acknowledgement of or acknowledgement of allegiance, obedience or adherence to a foreign power or state. I'll say no more, but I want to clarify that before you move on. You can proceed now.
Yes, on me, yeah, thanks for that. And I appeal more to the second part you read.
Well, you got to change the Constitution. Right? Unless you change the Constitution,
yes.
you could talk
to
thy kingdom come. That's what I'm saying to you.
Yes, we right.
It is supreme law of the land.
And guess what? I'm not trying to disobey the Supreme Court or the supreme law of the land. That's not what I'm doing. I'm asking for them to revisit it, especially that second part you read. I'm not the only person asking for them to revisit that, because you know, Patches, you've been to Washington, D.C. Welcome to Washington, D.C., bro. Mm-hmm. And you know what they call lobbyists. Mm-hmm. And Sinkis and Nevis is in the position where it's at because of the local politicians underground. Look at your thesis tonight a little bit more clearly. They sold out the place already. You think that the place is getting sold out? The place is already sold out. And who did that? The persons underground, the politicians underground, they raised their hands upon the Bible and swear allegiance to Sinkis and Nevis Federation. And this is what they do to the Federation. All treasonous manner of treason. They sell out the place, a betrayal like you're saying tonight. They're the ones who betrayed Sinkis and Nevis, no one else. And that they need to be looked at more carefully. You know what they call lobbyists? You don't even have to be on them ballots to make an influence politically in a country. And in Sinkis and Nevis in particular, we see where it's heading.
My brother,
we see where it's heading.
My brother, we don't need the lobbyists. You need a 2/3 majority in the parliament to amend the constitution. That's what you need.
Yeah. Okay. So that's I know that.
Okay.
But
so
as you spoke about the 10,000 applicants for Destiny who can potentially turn into 40,000.
Okay.
We know the offsprings of those people, they're going to have more rights than natural born citizens who's out here in the diaspora with a foreign passport. And then we will have another problem with that again.
Are you conceding that Destiny project will be approved? I don't think it would be. You think so?
Yeah, this is what I'm saying.
Okay.
We had the meeting this week, at least Tuesday in St. Kitts.
Mark.
And our leaders underground are not bringing the transparency to the citizens. So who is in more of a treasonous position, bro?
Okay.
You know, man.
Okay.
We don't want to bring any change to Sinkis and Nevis, and we stuck in a rut. But the politicians of the past and the present is the ones that have done this stuff to the Federation. Look at your thesis a little bit more closely tonight. They're the ones that betrayed Sinkis and Nevis. One point the lady make about you have to be living in the country for X amount of time. Well, all of those things are being how can I put it? They are not following the rules.
But we don't have a residency clause. That's what I'm saying. It was attempted at one stage, and during the 2015 team unity era, and we didn't get the votes from Labour to introduce that residency clause. So you don't have a residency clause. It has to be introduced in the legislation.
So we want these things to get looked at again. That's what we want. We want to try to clean up the mess.
But you need the numbers in Parliament. You need the numbers in Parliament to do that.
But even when they have the numbers, they make no changes. How many times in the history of Sinkis and Nevis there was majority in the House and nothing changed still?
But you're right. In 2020, there was a majority. I think there was a 9. You know, but Mark Ranty wanted to bring his overseas voters. He's going now to the diaspora. Is it next week or next couple of days?
Yes, I heard about that.
Right, so.
So let them bring the transparency of the meeting between him and Jew this week, so we could know if the destiny signed off on or not signed off on, and whatever other issues he may talk to the Prime Minister about concerning Nevis, the airport, the geothermal, and the extension at the hospital. But we will agree to disagree, and the debate continues. It's clear. It's clear.
What are we disagreeing on? I don't see
opinions and views. Opinions and views.
On what?
Opinions and views.
On what? What did
on whatever issues, any issues across the board concerning St. Kitts and Nevis.
Okay.
But as far as the Constitution goes, yes, it's conclusively clear to me.
Okay.
And I understand that.
Okay, my brother.
But all I will do is to ask the representatives to readdress some of these issues in Parliament.
Okay, got you loud and clear.
But lastly, I would say, if that Destiny Project approve on Nevis and they to get what they want, it will be a serious betrayal of St. Kitts and Nevis. And I'll leave that there.
Thank you very much, my dear brother. Yes, we will always have our variance in views, as you said, disagree, but we will never ever become disagreeable. That I can assure you. But I can also submit that the hopes and the aspirations of our people are calling you live. Hello, caller.
Hi, Patrice.
Yes, my dear. You have your equipment on?
Yeah, shut it up. Megan.
Yes.
As a caller, one caller said that leadership calls for sacrifice.
That is correct.
When they're talking about the Burn Clause, Sean and Lindsey Grant had to give up their citizenship to be in Parliament, to be a Parliament representative. So that is what that commander where the guys say leadership calls for sacrifice. So they sacrifice themselves. So how others want to come in and just jump in the ring like that? Look, so Sean and Lindsey Grant is a big example. They give up their citizenship because they want to be in Parliament. So what they're talking about, I don't know. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you very much, my Straight Talk family. As we wind down tonight's conversation, I must state categorically that I have been reliably informed, my Straight Talk family, that bank statements reveal that other Caribbean leaders received payments from Caribbean Galaxy. But as I said, that I'll be in Washington, God's Spear, at the end of the month, and I will provide you with more details on my next interview on the Western Hemisphere. I wish I can tell you more right now, but good things come to those who wait. What I can tell you as well is the U.S. officials, and I anticipate, and I did mention, I can repeat that arrangements have been made for me to meet top officials in the Department of Justice. And these officials know every single detail about CBI contracts, bank transactions, bank accounts, everything. My Straight Talk family, every single thing. And I want to also say to you that I am no slave. I am an investigative journalist. I had to choose a friend between the US, China, Cuba, and Venezuela. And I'm not afraid to say I chose the US. I can therefore inform you, again, that arrangements have been made for me to meet the top officials, because I need to know, and the public has a right to know, how many passports have been sold to Chinese, Iranians, and Russians. These are questions that need to be answered. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Yes, good night, Mr. White.
Good night, sir.
My question to you is, if these people are available, who seems to have the information about this CBA program, and individuals who might have these oversized bank accounts, right? Don't you think it would be fair for us if you bring them on your program so that we could ask questions of them?
No, they won't be on Straight Talk. I am hosting the Western Hemisphere. That's with the Proud American Studios, and we'll have an interview on that forum.
Yeah, but do we have access to that? Do we have access to that program in terms of calling or emailing?
It's not a calling or email program. It's an interview that I will get with top officials. Okay.
But would they disclose information that you are talking about, that you say that they have on that program?
I can't speak to that. So I'm saying to you, I'll have an interview arranged with top officials, and the interview would be broadcast.
Yeah, but would you? Okay, now since you're saying you'll have interview with them, would you ask questions like that to them? Ask questions.
Well, I am an individual. I just told you I'm an investigative journalist. What else must I say?
Okay.
All right. So
I'm hearing you. I'm listening to you.
Good things come to those who wait. Okay.
Yeah, because it doesn't make sense to us if we're just gonna hear, people have these oversized bank accounts and this money is here and money is here.
You don't know what you're gonna hear. So why you jump into that conclusion?
Yeah, but we keep hearing it all the time, so it's not any more conclusion.
Hearing what?
That these people, certain people, and from some of the conversation, and based on some of the wording that is used in the conversation, or the information that is bring forth to us, put forth to us, you could see it is pointing to certain people, certain persons here in St. Kitts, right? Without calling people name, you could see that certain information is pointing us in certain direction, or to look at certain persons. So, if these information are there, and I don't think you would put out, or you would say things that you don't have the evidence to back it up with, and if it's not going to compromise anything like a court matter or something like that, I think the information should be out so that we the citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis could know or should know.
Okay, thanks a lot for your contribution. But like I said, whenever that interview is conducted, we will glean from the interviewee in terms of the information that you so want to hear. But at this point, I am not at liberty to say much more than that. Caller, thank you for holding.
Yes.
I think I've gave you more than your time. Okay. Yes, go ahead, Carl, quickly.
It is true. In understanding what the caller was saying and what I wanted to say, I mean, election is still in 2027 anticipated. But let's say this interview, we have the patience to wait until the information revealed from this Washington meeting you have. If names are revealed, could an interview be done with these people who are kleptocrats to the Federation each and every one accordingly, momentarily, because I have the clue. Before you could have mentioned who some of these people are. And people are not stupid. They know who some of these people are by the clue that you have given. So I am going to ask the people of Federation of St. Kitts, if you have a clue, be protective of how you word and approach these people from defamation until further notice. So
what are you talking? What are you talking about? Use your time wisely. I'm trying to wrap up. So are you confusing us here?
I'm talking about those people who have laundered our money in their bank account in foreign.
Wait, you know who laundered our money? Have you you know who laundered our money?
I have a clue, but I'm not going to defamate.
Oh, you have a clue? Okay. Well, I am saying that I have been advised, but I'm not at liberty to discuss that on this program. I am saying, but I'm saying this, and I'll say this for the last time for tonight, that I have a podcast with the Proud American Studios. It is called the Western Hemisphere. When I do my next podcast on the Western Hemisphere, I will interview, arrangements have been made for me to interview some top officials, and you'll know when the podcast will be available.
I understand.
But so there's no need for us to discuss that any further.
I will not prolong. Yield back the time.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. Thanks a lot for your contribution. And my Straight Talk family, I think we're gonna wind down tonight's programming. This email reads, Patches, all of a sudden these misfits in government coming on the media talking about they want to hear from the people. July and his gang of worthless vagabonds must be think they were stupid. They're just pretending like they care about us so that we can give them another 5 years. They don't give a damn about our views or opinions. Look at all those stupid backdoor deals they're signing and sending all of our major projects out of the country, like the failed housing project sent to Trinidad. And now they're giving us a Barbados high school. Election is around the corner. People, don't let them fool you again. Let's vote all of these greedy, worthless vagabonds out of government. Reads that email. And that's our emails for tonight, my Straight Talk family. And I wind down tonight's programming. Our thesis tonight, I titled Selling a Nation, the Ultimate Betrayal of St. Kitts and Nevis. And I made the point that our foreign minister spoke about Kittition Hill and the Ramada Hotel. And what he wants us to do, my Straight Talk family, I don't know. But he told us this.
I've told my colleagues we have to do what we have to do to get Kittition Hill working. We have to do what we have to do to get Ramada Hotel open and functional.
Well, my Straight Talk family, I suggest what we should do. And I ask you if you concur. Shouldn't the Ramada Hotel belong to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis? And here's the rationale. They got 3,000 shares at $400,000 US per share or investment unit. So this developer, Caribbean Galaxy, collected US $1.2 billion or EC $3.2 billion. It is our money. Yes, the people's money. Douglas wants us to do something about Ramada Hotel. It is closed for years, but the developers don't care, as they have already collected approximately $1 billion since the construction cost of that hotel was estimated at just about 200 million US. So government must either acquire the Ramada Hotel or the people must occupy it. Occupy the Ramada Hotel, because this betrayal is unacceptable. I heard the SKN story, and we must ask, why isn't Caribbean Galaxy blacklisted? Former CEO of the Citizenship by Investment Unit, SKN, is captured on video, during which time he made a number of candid and controversial remarks concerning the CBI program and the conduct of certain political leaders. Those remarks have continued to fuel debate about transparency, accountability, and the long-term management of the program. Imagine, Terence Michael Drew said to allocate 5,500 shares to Galaxy was criminal. Yet, he took the lady, representative of Galaxy, to the United Nations General Assembly. Look at him there. Look at him. We saw the WhatsApp messages from Garth Lucifer Wilkin. Terence Michael Drew signed 22,000 certificates of registration. 22,000 passports, we can say. What betrayal. Mark Brantley lied about the CBI and its connection with the Destiny. But Johnson's revealed the truth. We have not even addressed the Whitegate project and what Douglas said recently. What do we have to do about Whitegate? But we are at a juncture. We share our pity for Mark Brantley, as he obviously failed to anticipate the consequences of his own decisions. And now he has become captive of the very framework he helped to create. With the full consent of the NIA, the federal government was granted absolute veto power. But it's the Independent Oversight Committee that must carry this enormous responsibility. Their duty is not to the developers. The duty of the IOC is not to the politicians. Their duty is to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, both present and future generations. They must examine this Destiny proposal without fear or favor. They must determine whether this project serves the national interest. My Straight Talk family, I'll take this and make this my final call for the night. If this caller can be guided by the rules of brevity. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller? Okay. Yes, but they must determine whether the project serves the national interest or merely serves private interest. They must determine whether our land, our citizenship, and our future are being protected. History teaches us that nations are really destroyed by foreign enemies. More often they are weakened when leaders place private interests above the public good. A nation is not a commodity to be traded, auctioned, or sold to the highest bidder. The people of St. Kitts and Nevis must ask themselves a simple but profound question. What is the true value of our citizenship, our sovereignty, and our national identity? Once these are compromised, no amount of money can buy them back, my Straight Talk family. But the ultimate betrayal is not a political disagreement or a policy failure. It is a surrender of a nation's future for short-term gain. We therefore have a duty to defend it, preserve it, and pass it on stronger than we found it. The time has come to put the nation before politics, principle before profit, and the people before all else. For when a government begins selling the future of its people, it commits the ultimate betrayal. The CBI program is the oldest or platinum brand, whatever we care to call it. But when the people rise to defend their nation, they become authors of its redemption. One thing for sure, selling this nation will lead to the ultimate betrayal of St. Kitts and Nevis. And that's my story tonight, my Straight Talk family, and I am not going to change it. However, I want to thank Almighty God for guiding our conversation tonight. As always, I want to thank you, the many viewers, those who called, those who sent emails, and those who just viewed or listened. Remember, you are the ones who make Straight Talk, and for that reason, I say a big, big thank you. I'm Ian Patches Liebert, and God's spear, we will connect on Monday for another edition of Straight Talk. Until then, have yourselves a wonderful weekend. Go to church. Do your chores. But remember, whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. But first of all, you must believe. So when you wake in the morning, thank God for the morning light. Thank Him for taking you through the night. And my Straight Talk family, keep moving on. Bye-bye. Until we connect on Monday.
In the morning, I thank God for the morning light. Give Him thanks and praises for taking me safely through the night. For the rest of food and loving care, and for my mother's breath of life that's got me here. So whatever my mind conceive, that I will achieve, you better believe, because I do the things I should, be to my brethren kind and good, the best I could. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now, I'll keep moving on, till I reach the top somehow. Down on my knees, the Lord I kneel and pray, with my heart and soul, beg Him to take me through each day, my guardian to keep